All right, so here's our full signal layout, and this is the final thing we're talking about with the O2R before we get into like, questions and answers and stuff like that. So this is like, basically this is what you would take into the room. If you want like a step-by-step going from 0 to hero, then this is what you're gonna have, okay? So first of all, you go into the O2R, turn up your stereo mix bus fader. That's this one right here. That's our master fader right there, boom, right there, turn that up. Don't turn it down ever again. Monitor section, the control room stereo button. That's this button right here. Your mic is in studio E, your O2R is in control room D. Remember those. The studio is the one, E is right across from the O2R. So on the input path, the mic is going to be plugged into the XLR cable, which is plugged into studio bay control room D input. Let's say it's coming into mic number 1. So in our control room patch bay, and that was, I just had that picture up right here. In the patch bay here, we're coming in, we have to patch it in. So we've got Studio E mic lines right here. One is coming into the preamp right here, boom, okay? So in the O2R is, actually this one may be set up so you don't have to patch it in, but just in case, just keep in mind it's right here. I feel like I've always had to patch it in, but maybe you don't have to. It might be set up like right here. Now I can't remember without being in front of it. Then we've got a patch bay studio. Mic 1 is plugged into the patch bay, mic 1, preamp 1. And then over here on our O2R, where's our O2R? Set our meter to pre-EQ right there. Push this button to set that up. And then on channel 1, we're going to set the input gain, turn on our phantom power if necessary. If it's a condenser mic, turn that on. And then set up our gain right here. We will be seeing the levels right here in our meter bridge. So that's where we are at right now. We're seeing the levels. It sounds good, looks good, great. Okay. Now, make sure that we're in layer 1 through 24. Make sure our fader mode over here is set for fader. Make sure our control room level is turned up. That's this one right here. And then now we should be hearing the signal. Oh, whoops, I skipped that step. Channel 1 fader, turn it up. So now we should be hearing the signal from our person in there, the singer or whatever. Okay. Next, we're going to record it into the DAW. So the routing section, we go up to our routing section, make sure that we press the select button on that channel. In the routing section, we're going to turn the direct on and the stereo off right here. Direct on, stereo off. In the DAW, we're going to hit our channels. Our input channel is set for input 1, and our output is going to be output number 1. Whatever that is set up on, however it's set up to display on the DAW is going to be right there. And then turn your monitor on. So you're going to turn that monitor on right there. So we should be able to see the, whatever is going on in the room, we should see the level happening right here. Then we're going to go back to our O2R, and we are going to press the layer 25 through 48 button right down here. And remember, we're not hearing the signal right now because we turned that stereo button off. So we push this one in here, and then we go to our meter, change our meter up to post fader, which is going to be this button again right here. Now we're going to select channel 25, push that select button because it would have turned off when we changed our layers, and then our channel 25, put the fader up, and that means we're now hearing the signal, and we should be seeing the signal in our meter bridge. So we should be hearing it and seeing it, and it should be what's coming from Pro Tools. So at this point, if you're hearing any kind of weirdness happening, well, we already did a check on the input path, so we know it's not the input path. So if we're hearing weirdness, that means we know that it's either going to be the signal into our computer or it's the signal out of our computer. It's one of those two. The cable is messed up there. So now we want to send that vocal to the reverb. So what we're going to do is we're going to press the master layer button. What I'm doing in this case is I'm actually setting up my destination first. which is, I kind of like to do it like this. You've seen me do it like this a bit. I like to put the reverb on there and then have the layer level up. So when I turn up my aux send amount, it just kind of brings it up and I can hear that reverb naturally coming up in the mix. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our master layer here, and this is kind of, I should just pause here for a second to say this way of doing it is kind of like how you do it in Pro Tools. For example, you make your aux channel and you put the reverb on it and you solo safe it, and then you turn up your then you set up your aux send amount to go to it and you turn it up. That's kind of what we're doing here. So setting up our master channel first with our return is kind of like setting up our aux channel in Pro Tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to put my master layer, master button there, and I'm going to make sure my fader mode is set for fader. And then channels 49 and 50, it's going to be linked together. So we're going to hold down the select button on one and push the select button on the other. That's this part right here. Push those buttons there. And then I'm going to turn the faders up, turn them up. I only have to push one, use one to put them up. And then also you should pan them. I think maybe the panning I've got here is, I guess I didn't put the panning in here, but you should definitely pan them left and right. So make sure you pan them left and right. And then what we're going to do, oh, I do have it panned right here. Pan left and right, fader up. Okay, good. And then we're going to go back to channel 25, layer 25 through 48. Now, at this point, our reverb is good to go. We should be able to hear it as soon as we start turning this aux up. So now we're going to deal with the aux send amount. So we're going to go to channel 25, layer 25 through 48, and change our fader mode right here. Change the fader mode to aux right there. And then we're going to select aux number 1 right here, aux number 1, and the faders should now be down. So then we're going to turn the fader up to, and we're going to be listening as we do it. Now in here it talks about doing it for aux number 2, which you don't have to. You don't have to do it from aux number 2 if you don't want to. All right, and then make sure that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we should be hearing reverb on the snare drum. So you can, generally you can skip this last one here, last 2 steps. Now remember our headphone mix, control room patch bay, studio out left and right is patched into control room, Furman left and right. This is a little bit different from what we just talked about, the headphone mix. If you want to do the headphone mix, like a separate mix from what we're hearing in the control room, then you would do that from aux 7 and 8. But if you just want them to hear what you're hearing in the control room, you can hit control room or you can hit stereo, either one, because you are listening to the stereo mix, so they could listen to the stereo mix as well. So in the patch bay, we're going to patch it into right here, either the studio left and right here or the Omni Out 7 and 8, depending on how you want to do it, and over here to our Furman left and right. And then the O2R Studio monitor section, aux 7 and 8 buttons on. And, oh, okay, so I've got that. Oh, studio out, patch studio out. Okay, I see what's happening. I'm sorry, I'm like a little bit, it's been a second since I patched stuff in the O2R. So yeah, you're gonna come from your studio section here, and then what you're gonna do is on the studio section up here, you're gonna have it so it's going to aux 7 and 8 right there. And then we're going to, in the control room monitor section, what we want to do is we want to hear what they're hearing. So we're going to turn off our stereo button in the control room section and push assignments 1 and 2. And then put them in, make sure auxes 7 and 8 are in pre-fader mode, which was in the last video. And then we're going to change our fader mode to aux, and then go to 7 and 8 one at a time and adjust the faders for the channels you want to hear in the headphone mix. Remember, you can just copy over from the layer to the headphone mix. And then the monitor section, make sure that our studio level is up, and then control room monitor section. At this point we should be hearing everything. Great, we're hearing it. Awesome, sounds good. And then we're going to go to our control room monitor section, and then assignments 1 and 2, turn those off, and then turn our stereo button back on so we can disconnect what we're hearing from what they're hearing. Because we want to hear what we want to hear, and we want them to hear what they want to hear. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I just went through it. This actually doesn't talk about busing stuff, but if you want to bus things, just go back to the bus part and read the list for that part there. And I know it's fast, but without actually being in the room, there's really not a lot of reason to be going through this slowly. If really this video is more so you can just hear me talking about it more than anything else, because it's all right here. I'm just reading exactly what you can read when you're actually in the room there. So this is more for just people who want to see me talk more. All right.